Assalamu alaikum, YouTube. I owe you an apology. It's been about 10, 11 months, almost a year since I last posted. And I owe you an apology, especially those of you who have supported the channel, who have expressed that, you know, you've benefited from the Arabic, the essentials of Arabic grammar lessons. You know, I owe you an apology, and I also owe you immense gratitude and thanks for supporting the channel. Those of you who have hit the like button, those of you who have commented and left your feedback, those of you who hit the subscribe button. It's gonna be noisy out here, but if I don't do this now, I probably won't ever do it. And even those of you who have just supported the channel with a dua, you know, 700 subscribers is nothing small, you know, especially in just a couple of months. It's not something that I expected. I didn't even expect myself to be doing YouTube, or, you know, anybody who knows me knows I'm not really big on like social media and all these things, you know. And so definitely YouTube was the last thing on my mind. But you know, I spent so much time in Toronto, you know, where I'm from, studying the Arabic language, primarily with the focus of reading comprehension, to be able to read and understand the Quran more deeply, to be able to read tafsir and other classical texts and kind of dive into the Arabic language, Arab, Sarf, these types of things, you know, to help me better understand the Quran and develop a stronger relationship with the Quran, with the Book of Allah, with the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you know, Toronto is where I spent most of my time learning Arabic and the Deen as a whole. You know, it's where I accepted Islam in my late teens. And I've always had this this hope, this goal, you know, and I don't want to, you know, describe it with the wrong words, to attach to it the wrong connotation. But I had this, you know, this strong goal and intention to hopefully be able to go abroad to a Muslim country, an environment that was more conducive to my growth as a Muslim. And of course, you know, to strengthen my relationship with Allah Ta'ala, with the Book of Allah, with the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to be in an environment that helps and contributes to that growth. But for many reasons, that just wasn't open to me. Some I've been able to grasp and comprehend, and others, you know, only Allah Ta'ala knows. But my journey, you know, learning and studying Islam was never about becoming a scholar or some religious figure that, you know, people look up to. Islam really changed my life, really changed my perspective on life. Allah Ta'ala opened my eyes to the truth and purpose of life. I didn't really start learning until, you know, a couple years after I became Muslim. And the extent of my ignorance, I mean, unbelievable. So I've realized, you know, early on, the importance of learning in order to hopefully become a better human being, become a better Muslim, a better man in general. And there were so many instances where Allah Ta'ala showed me that, you know, sincerity and ignorance just don't mix. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, you know, I spent a lot of my time studying in Toronto with, you know, teachers who traveled to Toronto that I was able to benefit from, sit in the company of. And you know, even teachers abroad through online means, etc. And at one point, got a scholarship in South Africa to study Islam at a particular institute there. But because at that time they weren't accredited, they wouldn't give me a visa to go. And by the time they were accredited, I had other things in motion, and it wasn't feasible for me to just pick up and go. And I believe 2016 I applied to the Islamic University of Madinah, and I didn't hear word back. You know, 2 years later, 2018. Alhamdulillah, first time I went to Saudi for Umrah. And during this time, while I was in Madinah, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to the university just to check it out, see what's going on with my application. And I went. They ended up interviewing me on the spot. So think about the time frame. I applied in 2016. It's now 2021. And they give me a scholarship to the Islamic University of Madinah. And this is, you know, at the height of the pandemic pretty much, where there's a lot of travel restrictions, etc. They send me the visa, they send me the acceptance letter and all the things that I need to get the visa to go to the embassy in Ottawa, etc. So I get started with that, police background checks, the whole nine. I get everything together, and right when I'm about to submit everything, they're like, we're actually not accepting any more students on campus to study in person at the moment. So they gave me two options. Start with your studies online until things open back up and you can, you know, travel to Medina and study in person. And online study just wasn't gonna work for me. You know what I mean? One, it's not the same. And I've been doing a lot of online study, some studies in person, of course, with the teachers that I had here. But, you know, when I was studying a few classical texts with a teacher from Egypt, for example, that was, of course, online. And though I benefited greatly, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't ideal. Like, it wasn't, you know, the same feel wasn't there. Like, you know what I mean, with in terms of being, you know, in person with a teacher. Just wanted to make sure I'm going the right way. In terms of being able to study in person with a teacher, there's benefit and barakah in that, you know? And also, imagine doing like a full-time course load online. Meanwhile, you're living in Toronto, still gotta work, still gotta pay bills, still gotta, you know, earn a living, deal with your day-to-day. I wouldn't be able to focus. So the other option was you defer your enrollment to a time when in-person studies resume. So that's what I did. I deferred my enrollment, and nobody reached back out to me. No notifications from the university online or anything like that. I would reach out through the online portal. Nobody would respond. Hopefully you got to hear me. I'm right next to a highway. Nobody would respond. I often tell people it's like Madinah University's administration and that whole like system is almost mythical. You know what I mean? What they have is like a certain group of students, a select few of students who help out other accepted students from their countries, from their respective countries. Long story short, I just figured they must have revoked my scholarship, so I'm not really too pressed about it. I'm working on my business, I'm working on myself, I'm doing other things. And then I mentioned to somebody about the scholarship being accepted at some point, and the whole situation, the whole ordeal. And they were like, man, that's a great opportunity. Is there no one else you could try to connect with and whatever. So I reached out to a couple students through WhatsApp that I knew from talking to them previously, who reached out to another set of students who knew a Mandub who was dealing with the students from Canada, and they put me in this WhatsApp group. So that's their mode of communication. Some students through a WhatsApp group. I explained my situation to them, like, look, before this I checked my scholarship online. It still said active, so I was shocked. I thought this whole time that it's been revoked or something because no one reached out to me. So I'm explaining to them the situation, and I'm thinking they understand everything, and I'm telling them, like, look, is there any way you guys can go and talk to the administration there and mention my case, mention my situation? And they're just basically brushing it off like, bro, we speak to administration every day. Long story short, these brothers are like, yeah, we understand. Just make sure you start getting all your like paperwork and stuff together. Again, the whole thing, the police check, your blood work, all that. Because at any moment, they're gonna send out the application for you to renew your visa. And that's when you'll submit all this stuff, and you gotta be ready because they do it at a moment's notice. So I'm like, cool, like they understand my situation. They're in contact with administration. So I'm getting everything done. Of course, this costs money, it's taking time. And I'm also preparing ahead of time because like I got business, I got work and things that I'm doing. So I'm preparing for like the possibility of at any time I could leave. I could go to Medina. Anyway, the time comes for the renewal. I apply for the renewal and they don't give it to me. So basically I reach out to like the lead in this chat and I'm telling them like, I don't understand what's going on. They told me I could defer their enrollment and basically he's like, explain to me your situation again. So I'm like, I explain it to him again. I send him the documentation they sent me the first time and he's basically like, oh, okay, now I understand. So, this whole time, months, I'm talking months, I'm preparing and all this stuff. And I'm telling these guys too, like I'm telling brothers in this chat, like if you're there, what I'm saying, if you could reach out to the administration to explain my situation, that'd be great. And they just brushed it off, like they understood exactly what I was talking about and clearly didn't. But basically now he reaches out to them and he's saying, they want to know why you didn't accept the scholarship immediately. So I'm basically trying to explain to him that the same thing I was telling them the first time, right? That I deferred my enrollment because they said you can either study online or defer your enrollment. And he's like, yeah, they want to know why you didn't accept right away. And I'm basically, we're just going in circles. He's like, you're gonna have to speak to the dean, which means now I gotta pay out of pocket to take a flight out there just to speak to the dean. And I'm confused because I'm thinking, why aren't these brothers able to do it? I'm explaining to them the same exact thing. So it was this whole thing, you know what I mean? And it was disheartening, but I didn't really take it. I wasn't really too pressed about it. Obviously as well, I prayed istikhara, I'm not gonna pray istikhara and ask Allah to guide me to what's best and then think I know what's best. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't work out, I didn't really bother going back and forth with them and I just kind of focused on, continue to focus on doing me. During that time, again, I had already been making preparations that, at a moment's notice I could be out. And of course it would be amazing because the scholarship, paying for your travel to and from home, the stipend so that you could focus on studying, it would have been amazing, but that just wasn't it for me, Alhamdulillah, I remember I was very fortunate, very blessed, a year after I had first been to Saudi, to Mecca and Medina. That was 2018. The following year in 2019, there was a brother who took me with his family, him and his family, for Hajj. Alhamdulillah, And may Allah bless that brother and his family. When I came back from Hajj, I was just being tested in ways that I can't even explain, But basically, when I didn't get the visa that I applied for, or that letter, and it seemed like just way too much for me to even be able to begin rectifying the issue. Getting a plane ticket, going out there in the midst of everything I got going on. Like I said, I had prayed istikhara before. So I was disheartened for sure. But it didn't cripple my motives or my intention or, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what Allah Ta'ala decreed and I asked him for his guidance, then what do I have to really complain about or, put up a fuss about? So leading up to this time, I remember purchasing this online course with a textbook. I remember purchasing an online course where the textbook that you study from and take your lessons from, it also contains a workbook. It was compiled by 2 students. And I just remember studying it and they had compiled this years prior. It was from some students who were in Jordan. And I just thought to myself, like, subhanAllah, they probably didn't even imagine that some random guy from Toronto, Canada, would be taking in their lessons and benefiting from their lessons years later. And even if some other students came and, updated that textbook, these guys still laid the foundation. They're still getting that ajr. They're still getting that reward and those blessings. These weren't ulama, these were just students. There was also this YouTube video I came across, and I don't know the brother's name, but at that time it was like, the video was made 10 years prior, and it had millions of views, and it wasn't about the views, but it was the fact that this brother was teaching uploaded a video from 10 years ago and it was still here. People were benefiting from it. And I thought to myself, my focus shouldn't be so much on just studying, but implementing what I've already learned and teaching it to others as well. And anybody who knows me knows, like, I'm not big on social media, or even like I'm a very private person, like putting myself out there on the net. Like, it's just not me, it's not my thing. But those two things inspired me to write the essentials of Arabic grammar as a guide, given my own personal experience in learning the Arabic language, of what I thought would be something that could really guide the beginner to grasp the most essential, basic concepts of the Arabic language, you know, as a beginner, but also for those who may have already had some prior study and want to revise and solidify what they've already learned. So I compiled it in a book format that would be short and sweet. And again, this video that I've seen, at that time I was thinking, who knows if this brother's still alive? But here I am benefiting from his video, and so are, you know, hundreds of thousands of other people 10 years later. And I just felt like I was in great need of something that went beyond me, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't just of benefit to me. Like I study, or I do dhikr, or, you know, that benefits me. But what can I do that can benefit other people, you know, in a positive way? Whether it's Arabic or whatever else, you know what I'm saying? That's just what I thought of at that time. That's just what I was inspired to do at that time. And, you know, to see so many of you who have shared some positive feedback and expressed that you've benefited from these lessons, I mean, it means a lot. And at that time too, like, I didn't really have a solid plan. Like, I had, at that time I was recording these videos and editing them week by week. Like, this isn't my forte, like making videos, editing videos and all this stuff. This was stuff that I was learning on the fly. And so I was uploading them weekly. Now you can imagine, like, life happens, you know. During this time I also got a business that I'm building. I got bills to pay. So I gotta be on the grind, man. Like, you know, and these videos, they take so much time, they take so much energy, so much effort. So especially the editing process, like anybody, you know, anyone who's like a small YouTuber, or like, you know, anyone who's a small YouTuber who's not like outsourcing their video editing knows, you know, this stuff is time consuming, especially when it's long form content. And like I said, man, I had to make money, I had to make moves. During this time, like I said, I'm building a business. I ended up going back to school so that I can upskill in project management, because I've been working in the project management field for pretty much my whole career. And then I was studying for the PMP exam, which alhamdulillah I passed. And again, anybody who knows that's an intense exam. So during this time, like, a lot of these things are happening, and it's just taking more and more, it was just taking more and more time away from me to be able to do these videos, to make this content. And even still, you know, it's a challenge. So even though at that time I had some videos queued up, I also just couldn't even find the time to really put the work in to fully edit them. And even by the time I edited a few of them, it was like, I felt like the content wasn't delivered clearly enough. And because they're not interactive videos, it's just like a talking head video, which inshallah I hope to be able to do more about that, to incorporate something a little better. I have to make sure that it's extremely clear in the explanations, right? So I just felt like I could do it better, and I wasn't really putting my all into it. So all of this to say that, you know, this whole long rant, I don't even know what I was talking about this whole time as I'm walking. There's so much to tell. It's in between a lot of these events. But you know, all of this to say that, you know, I'm back. I will continue my Arabic lessons, as well as doing a lot more on this channel, inshallah. That's my intent. And you know, to put out more beneficial content, and things that, you know, could hopefully have a positive impact on the lives of people who do watch these videos. And hopefully there's something educational, hopefully there's something beneficial that we can all take. I do plan to have, hopefully, you know, a better structure in terms of how I present these lessons, and also so that I don't burn out, you know what I mean? Maybe drop 2 of these lessons a month, one every 2 weeks, and hopefully there'll be a time where I can at least do some live sessions in between those lessons where people can ask their questions, etc. There's no plan, there's no script to this video. I just figured if I don't make it now, then I'll never make it. Right now I'm walking around the streets of New Cairo. I've been in Egypt for a week now, hoping to find, a place to stay, seeing what's out here, seeing what the accommodations, the living arrangements are like that I can make so that I can stay here and hopefully continue learning, continue growing, really, just strengthen and deepen my connection to the Quran, to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I'm finally in an environment that I feel like is conducive to that. If it's khair for me, if it's good for me, then I pray that Allah Ta'ala makes a way for me to stay. More on my journey here later. I just really wanted to make this a quick video where I can, just express my gratitude to all of you who have supported this channel. Like I said, man, 700 subscribers in a couple of months. That might be nothing to other people, but that's something to me. That's major. It's not about the subscribes and the views and the likes. Again, man, it's just about hearing so many of you from, different parts of the world saying that you've benefited from these lessons, no matter how small the amount of people is. I never, saw the channel growing that quickly. And even with that little bit of growth, I couldn't keep up. So I'm hoping to, like I said, provide a little bit more beneficial content on this channel, document my journey out here, if I'm able to stay, inshallah. And all I'm asking for, is your du'as, your prayers. Some new videos on the essentials of Arabic grammar coming soon. We're already like halfway through the text. So for those of you who have been keeping up, go back, review. I've made it, I made these lessons super short, but comprehensive so that it's easy for you to go back and review. So go back, do some review. We're about to dive into the Jumla Ismiya. We're about to dive into a whole lot of other things as well. And I think I'm just gonna share a lot more interesting things on this channel as they come up, especially documenting my journey out here, being in Egypt. Right now I'm in New Cairo for half of the time that I've been here. So earlier on in the week, for a couple of days, I was in Old Cairo, downtown Cairo. And this has been an experience and a half. First time in Egypt. Even still, I'm just kind of like, every couple of minutes I remind myself, like, subhanallah, like I'm in Egypt. So many different things I've already done here. So more on that later. I got a lot of footage, a lot of things that I'm going to, compile and put into a video, or a few videos at least. I got a lot of footage. Hopefully everything that I post on this channel is beneficial to you guys. I don't want to make this channel something that's just like a bunch of like fluff and like goofiness, So shout out to everyone from Toronto who's watching this. Shout out to all of you who, again, have supported, who have purchased the text, even though you don't even need to. If you are benefiting from the lessons, though, I would encourage you to purchase the text, because it does help me. Like I said, as a small content creator, this is tough. You don't get paid for this. Still got bills to pay, still got things to do. So I'm trying to make it of something of value to you that you can purchase, as opposed to just asking you for money. You know what I mean? Even if you can't, just make a dua for me. Not everybody who's watching these videos is a supporter or is someone who likes to see others doing something positive. And just being out there, these things are real. These things are real. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like I said, I just wanted to. I've been walking and talking for a long time. I hope this video is not super long and dragged out. Really, like I said, I wanted to really express my gratitude. I'm truly appreciative. I'm looking forward to continuing with the lessons and seeing what else, if there's any other things that I can offer that are of benefit to you, the young, the old, Muslim, non-Muslim. Drop some comments below where you're watching from. Drop some comments below if you've benefited from these lessons, any things that you think I should improve. Yeah, all of this is new to me, man. Social media, YouTube, all this other stuff. I mean, I'm on social media. I've been on social media, but man, I haven't been, like, every time I start a Instagram account or something, I end up deleting it after like a month or two. I don't even do no posting or nothing. So YouTube got the longest run from me. YouTube got the longest run for me, but you know, even like filming myself, recording myself, a lot of this is new, man. It takes some getting used to. You know, it's not something that I do often or frequently. And like I said, man, it's loud out here. I figured I'd do this now as I'm walking, but I'm out here in Cairo, man. I'm out here in Egypt, and yeah, I just felt like, you know, what better time to restart my channel than now, you know what I'm saying? And again, you know, I just, my intention is the same, just to have something, you know, no matter how small, that other people can benefit from, even when I'm no longer here, you know what I'm saying, that will benefit me in the Akhirah. So that's what this is about. If you're watching this video and you've watched this far, just throw a prayer up for me, you know, throw a prayer up for me, and, you know, ask Allah Ta'ala to keep me sincere and to, you know, open all of the doors of khair for me, wherever they may be. And I ask that for you tenfold. You know, I ask that for you tenfold. So don't neglect the dua. And yeah, you know, stay tuned for what's next. Even I'm staying tuned. But you know, shout out to all of you, man. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate you. And yeah, man, let's see what's in store for the remainder of this year. Assalamu alaikum.